All right, so I'm live here with Assimilate AWS by coding. The concept here is that I want to build out solutions using AWS, mostly Python, but I'll use other languages too, PowerShell, .NET, Rust, you name it. Happy to do it. But I'm also going to keep using tools like GitHub Copilot, which I'm a huge fan of. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and share my screen here. So I'm going to go to a new organization and I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Perfect. And we'll get this running. And there we go. All right. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to find this AWS directory here. Assimilate AWS. And we'll go to code and launch this. So what the reason I like to use the code space for coding with AWS is that I've already got it set up with my keys. And so what this means is that I don't have to actually always use Cloud9. I can also use this environment. The workbench failed to connect to the server. I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but we can fix this. Let's go ahead and let's see if now, because there's a dev container right here, and we can take a look at this. We've got the configurations all set up here, and we also have the dev container file set up. For whatever reason that was having issues, this, I guess, proves what you can do is if I go back here, I can say manage, and I can just nuke this. I don't know why I was having problems. And then I can create a new one. And let's go ahead and configure this thing. And let's go ahead and see what happens. There we go. Create code spaces. So the concept that's unique about the code spaces environment is that if we look at this, you can see that it's going to build out from scratch a new environment here. And if we go to this dev container file, it's going to use the Docker file that's pasted in this config. It'll show the exact variant, so like what version of Python. It also shows the extensions for Visual Studio Code that are actually used, and even post-create commands like this, like virtual environment creation, sourcing, and even I run a make install step as well, and even other kinds of features like, do I want Docker inside? Do I want Kubernetes, Terraform? And I also installed the AWS CLI, and this will allow me to use the AWS tools. One other thing I'll point out about this particular environment, if we go to settings, is that if I go to secrets and I go to code spaces, one of the really cool things about this is that, again, I can call all these different secrets files and keys inside of this particular environment, which really makes it a kind of a dream environment to write code in. So we'll just give this a second, and once it's open, I can continue to write code for AWS. The other thing I guess I'll do is I'm going to go to the console of AWS here real quick, and I'm going to log into that. And we can go to auth. And I'm going to put in a code here. Let's see. There we go. Perfect. Now I've got my environment set up. This thing should be finishing in just a second. So it does take a little bit of time the first time you load a code space, but one of the things you can do is you can actually put the code space, instead of building the container each time, you could actually push that container to the container registry, and then the container registry could also uh, be the place where you pull your code space container. So you don't always need to actually have this whole like startup cost associated with what you're doing. So I think that that probably is one of the better ways to use the the, the the dev container configuration, is to use the use more of this like pre-built container concept, because in this case I have a lot of stuff that I'm installing in this particular environment. And I guess as this is finishing up, the other thing I can do is go to Bodo 3, which is the other thing I'm going to be using, and see if there's other kinds of services that I want to interact with today. So it looks like that's done. Installing Rust. Terraform is the last thing that's going to get installed here. All right. I'm assuming that's basically the last bit of installation step. So you can see here that it uses a mount point. We got it all working. Okay, good. I don't know why that bug is happening. So something's happening in this particular code space, and I don't know why, but it looks like it's back. Okay, good. So I'm gonna first go to the color theme here, and I'm gonna change it to. I really like this dark colorblind beta. So what it means is that it's basically an accessible environment, which I think is always a nice thing to do. And before, what I did in the past was I was writing tools like, for example, something that would go through and manage command line tools. And in this case, we can see this, right? Like, if I want, and I say manage S3 tools, I do a help menu right here. We can see that I think I need to do a make install to install everything in my requirements file, which will be right here. But once I do this, you can see that I was able to write a bunch of different tools that help me manage my AWS account. So I had, count the buckets in my account, um, find empty buckets, delete buckets that match a pattern, that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and try this thing out again. If I say help, it looks like it's working. And let's just do count, right? So if I say you have 47 buckets in your account. So these are the ways that I would recommend getting started with learning cloud computing, is to build little tools that help you manage things in your account. Now, one thing that I think would probably be helpful is for me to start to refactor things a little bit, because if I keep building these command line tools here, it could get unwieldy really quick, and I probably want to start building a library structure out. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna say make dir AWS tools, like that, and then I'm gonna say touch AWS tools it, like that. So I have the structure set up for my library code, and then I would just need to build the first piece of code. And so one of the things that's actually kind of fun to do is to refactor things that you've already written. And so in this particular scenario, what I can do is I can just make an S3 example. So if I go to this directory, I can call this one, um, S3 lib or something like that. That looks pretty good. And now if I go to this directory, what I can do is start to grab some of this code out of here. So like, for example, count buckets is a perfect one. Let's go ahead and in fact, I could grab all this out. I can just grab the delete buckets and count buckets here, and let's just pull that out, and let's go to this, and let's paste it inside of here. And I can also say import Bodo 3. Now, when you're refactoring, one of the best things to do is to go ahead and make use of the linting tools. And notice here that I'll need to change the way I'm doing linting so that I have AWS tools like exactly. So it basically is linting inside of here, and then the same for formatting. I can say um, basically AWS tools well, and now if I say make lint, it'll look inside that AWS directory and says, oh, look at this, manage S3 tools. We actually have some problems because I changed the code. And it is even telling me that these things need to be moved. So in theory, if everything works correctly, I could just do this. I could say from AWS tools dot s3lib import those three files, those three uh, functions that I've written, and I need to make sure all my code is removed here. I don't see those. So from AWS tools, we have count buckets, find empty buckets, delete buckets. We have count buckets, find empty buckets, and yeah, there we go. We have all those. And now if I want to format it and say make format, this will, okay, there we go. We got everything formatted. And if I say make lint, how much of that did it fix? Did it fix everything? Okay, so we have an undefined click in manage S3 tools. So I need to also import click. So we'll do this first, import click. There you go. Now if I say make lint, perfect. And now if I say make format, good. So now I can run the same tool, manage S3 tools like that, and we can do a count, but now the code lives in another directory, and it's much shorter, right? So I can look at this and it's less unwieldy to look at. So I think this is also a really good idea, is once you start to build a repository out where you're building lots of code examples, you really do want to start to create a library, and then the command line tools will feed into this particular library. And so I could actually just do that. I could just refactor all of the different things that are in this directory and start to build a library of AWS tools. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just say get status. What do we got here? So I can just add all this in. We can say adding library code for S3, this. And then I could take some of these other pieces of code here and put those into actually libraries. And we could just go one by one, right? And we could move the rest of these things in here and just clean things up a little bit. In fact, I'm just thinking out loud here, what would be a good structure for this is, I think we could we could basically, yeah, I think just keep things the same here, but I'm going to just go one by one. So we'll have a transcriber. So here's another one. So I need to make another directory inside the library, and we'll say AWS tools, and we'll call this one transcribe, or yeah, transcribe lib. That looks pretty good. And I can just take this this stuff, transcribe all files, list transcription jobs, get transcription job, right? We have a lot of code here, and I can just take all of this and I could just pull it out and then go back to this library and just paste it in. And all I need to do is take those imports, which were import Boto3 and also import OpenAI, right? Because I was using OpenAI for, I believe, summarization. So, and later I could even move that into its own project file. But for now, just to keep things simple, that looks pretty good. And then if I go back to my other transcribe tool here, I can remove this, the OpenAI, because I don't need it anymore. And I can also remove Bodo 3. I don't need that anymore. And then the rest of this, let's see here. Do I have any other? There shouldn't be any logic in here. So basically, the only thing that I'm going to need would be click, and the rest of this is just logic code, right? So it really does make things a lot simpler when you're able to refactor things into a library. And in fact, I can just put the rest of this here. And then how do I check that things are working? So again, I can just use lint. I don't even have to write unit tests. I just say make lint and just see what blows up. There we go. So we see some things have blown up because it looks like all I need to do is just change the way the import works. So I can do this. I can say from AWS tools dot transcribe lib import, and it's probably going to tell me all the different things that I need to do. I always forget what the correct syntax is for this, but I sometimes will do this style, which I don't know actually if it's the correct way to format it. Fortunately, it's easy for me to find out because I just say make format. I have the formatting tool. There we go. So it formatted the code for me. I think this is the recommended way, is the brackets, the square brackets here. I'm sorry, the round parentheses here to put everything inside. So it looks good. And if I say make lint, it says transcriber. What does it say here? It says no name transcribe auto file. Let's check it out. Transcribe audio file. Huh. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I must. So one thing you do want to be careful of is to blindly accept all suggestions. We want to do. We want to do summarize transcription, which is one of them. Summarize transcription. Also want to do transcribe all files. We'll do this one next. That was already done. The next one we'll do is list transcription jobs, which I don't know if we need that one, but it's there. And then get transcription URI. I don't know if we need this one, but we can always start off with it and we can remove it if we need it. And then read transcription text. We'll also put that in there. We can always remove things we don't need later, but I'm just going to take all the logic out of here, and I'm going to put the logic as imports into this command line tool. And I think if I say make format, it says I cannot parse line 6. Oh, because there's no comma. Here we go. And then if I do lint, used, yeah, so these two we don't need. Get transcription URI and read transcription. So we don't need this one. We don't need these two lines, right? So this is why the linting tools are so amazing. There we go, perfect. And even our editor tells us, right, what's good. Now if I do a lint, there we go. So I've refactored yet another tool. And if I go to AWS Transcriber here and I want to run -- help, we can see that it can do these things: get results, list jobs. So if I wanted to list all the transcribe jobs that are in my account, I could just go through here and say list jobs. Yep, and the tool still works. So definitely a good strategy to refactor your code into library code, adding more library code, right? So what this means is that in addition to refactoring, when I want to build new code, now I'm going to start to build the code into this AWS tools directory right here. And so what I can do next is actually go to the Bodo docs and see what else we could build that would be kind of fun. Now, one of the things that I think would be kind of fun to build out would be to play around with some of the CDK stuff. And so if we say CDK, Python, and one of the things that's pretty cool, this is for AWS CDK version 2, is the Cloud Development Kit allows you to write infrastructure as Python code. And so this is going to show me how I would go through here and create a new project for doing CDK. And I can just go through here and look at the docs real quick, and we see how things work. So it would be kind of cool actually to do like a really simple example. Do they have like a hello world here? So you see the concept is you go CDK synth, CDK deploy. So if I wanted to create a bucket, for example, or I guess I could do serverless. Let's see what this example is, serverless. And we want to do it in Python. Yeah, this is a good one. Here we go. Let's say I want to create a Lambda function using CDK. Now, what's a bummer is that they're making you have this widget in JavaScript, but let's try it out. This will be a good one to try to build next. So I'm going to take this CDK example in Python, and I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to add it to the README, and we'll say, like session 1 was writing CLI tools, and for session 2, we're going to do we did refactoring, and then CDK refactor, and then CDK in Python. And I'll put a link to this, which is pretty common. Like if you're just getting started writing code for the first time on AWS, you probably would refactor and then maybe do a little bit of infrastructure as code. And so what I can do is just is keep that one open. And then I'm also going to open up the getting started guide and just look at what I need to do. So the first thing they want me to do is use AWS CDK lib. So I need to add this to my installation step. So I'm going to go to requirements, and I'm going to add this in AWS CDK. And because I use a make file, pretty easy to install, I would just say make install like that. And this is going to go through, and it's going to install the CDK library for me. Okay, great. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go and follow the first part of the guide here, which I guess in this directory, this would make a bucket, which is kind of cool. AWS configure, we already got that working. I already have the keys working. Install the AWS tool using the following node package command. So I do want to double check that this is actually installed. Let's double check that this is installed. CDK version. Ooh, that's so the fact that it's not installed is troubling. So CDK2 works with your existing, however it can't. If you don't have your account number, you can get it. So it looks like what I don't know here is whether I need to install this other library. We can definitely import it, but do I need to install this in this particular environment? I'm thinking I do. Install the AWS CDK globally using the following node package manager command. Well, I guess we'll try it. Deploying the stacks requires dedicated S3 buckets and other containers. This is called bootstrapping. To bootstrap, and then you do account number and region. If you have your created name profile, inside of here, this does look a little bit complicated in it for this particular environment. I'm wondering if I abandon ship on this and do it in a different session. I think I might. I think I'm gonna do it a little bit later. I'll put this in the next session. We'll say session 3. We'll do this. Say session 3. So tackle bootstrap CDK. Yeah, I think this is a little much just because I don't want to do all of that with the time I've got. We'll do that. What I can do is I can build more library code. And so one of the libraries that would be kind of fun to play around with would be to do a more API stuff. And in particular, I would say one of the things that's kind of fun to play around with would be maybe some kind of like a query, kind of an API. So what do we got here in terms of what kind of Athena? What do we got in terms of Athena? So Athena is a low-level representation of Athena, and I'm curious if you can use Athena to query S3. So like that would be kind of a fun thing to play around with. Is could I do a SQL query using Athena and get the results? That could be one thing. What else could we do with Boto 3? We could look at the AI services. So if I go back to here and I go to machine learning or AI, let's see, we got comprehend, code guru. Where did comprehend a little bit? Forecasting, Lex, turn text into speech recognition, easily extract text. So I've done transcribe, maybe translate. This would be a good one. Let's do translate. This is probably a good one. So if we just said, hello, my name is Noah, and I want to translate this to Spanish, we could do that. We could do Spanish. Hola, mi nombre es Noah. So that looks good. That's what I want to do. So let me look at the Boto 3 Translate API. And let's go down to T, translate. Translate. There you go. Translate. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is make a client. So I'm going to go back to my code space here, and we'll call this one translate. So I don't need to install anything new, but inside of this directory, AWS tools, I'm going to build a translation tool. So we'll say touch AWS tools, and we'll say translate lib.py, translate lib. And now I'm going to do what I typically would do is import Boto 3, and we could just kind of build out a straight script that just prints out some kind of translation. So we're probably going to need some text here, which would say, hello, my name is Noah. And then now what is nice is that the boilerplate text here, it looks like it's going to be written for me, so this is basically exactly what I want, and we're going to print a result out. So this is where Copilot is so nice, because this is stuff that there's no skill involved. This is just essentially boilerplate code, and we can do this. We can say Python translate lib like that. There we go, and we can see where does the result. There we go, translated text. So what I'm going to need to do is I want to grab that out right there, and I'm probably going to grab these two things as well. So let's build another function, and I'm gonna say you know, build function, translate text source target. Boom, look at this, pretty nice. And that's exactly what I would want to bring a return is a translated text. Now I probably want to return back the source and the target as well. And the reason for this is that if I'm going to do lots of translations, I don't want to just, I may not be an expert and know the difference between Portuguese and Spanish. They look similar if you're a novice. And so I want to have that, qualifier there. So we'll go ahead and put some documentation in this function, and we can say, actually, yeah, we're missing that. We're missing that. And we can say this, translate text. I can get rid of that. Okay, translate text. And that's really all I need to build a command line tool. So next what I can do is I can build a command line tool that is called translator CLI, that. And then this translator, we would just say from AWS tools dot translate lib import translator. And then we would say import click. And then we would say also make this have a shebang line like that. Perfect. And also make it executable. That. And then I would say some instructions to Copilot to help me build out the rest of the stuff. So I'm going to say, for example, build out click group, and it's going to build out the group for me in click. And I'm not going to accept this prompt. I'm going to say exactly. I'm going to say build out a simple interface for AWS Translate, and then we can basically do this. Yeah. So we have now I would say I do like to build out the commands so that I can have many commands inside of here. So we'll call this translate just like that. And then it's going to take the text, it's going to take the source, and it's going to take the argument. Now, I think it's better I actually am a fan of options. So I don't have to do everything that Click is telling me. I could even do this. I could say add options. There we go. Yeah. So you really can guide the suggestions and tell it what you want to do. So this really gets into the question is who's in control? Well, I'm in control because I told this tool what to do, and it's not telling me what to do. I'm telling it what to do, and I'm prompting it to add things in a way that I care about. So there we go. Translate, and then it's going to put all this together, just like this. And look, translate from source to target. Now this is where maybe it would be kind of cool to do some of the fancy things you can do with Click. For example, well, we could now the result. Remember, the payload that comes back is going to be three things. It's going to be the translated text, the source, and the target. So what we would want to do would be text, source, and target, right? And so when we do the click style like that, we would say text, and then we could even do, we could say like use colored There you go. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So it even I can even tell Click, hey, I wanna make a cool little like formatting, right? So then it I can put whatever order I care about. So I think the text should go last here, and then we'll put the we'll put this here. Now, what is Click SE Echo? What does that mean? Oh, it's echo and style in one call. See, I just the Copilot tool just taught me a new thing. I didn't even know you could do that. I like this much better. So now we'll call the tool, run the CLI. There we go. So pretty neat. Now I can go over here and we can go through and do translate. Help. Cannot import translator because I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. And also I need to run linting and formatting. It's always a good idea. So say make format and make lint. So undefined variable translator line 20. Oh, because we just need that. And there we go. We can put that inside. So nice. Use colored text to highlight. I don't think we care about that. Text source. Yeah, we actually don't need one line. There we go. So now if I say make format, make lint, it's going to say attempted to unpack a non-sequence, line 20. Let's double check. Let's see, translate lib. Oh, it's returning. Are we sure about that? Translate text. Translate text. Sure looks like. Well, what I can do is I can play around with this with IPython. And let's look at the other one. So, translate text. Unused translate text. Oh, well, because look, this is misspelled. There you go. That's the problem. And now we can do the same thing, make format, make lint. So really the formatting and the linting are very complementary to Copilot. And now I can go through and run my translator help menu. Perfect. Now we can go through and we can say, we can put a little bit more documentation as well into this tool. And we can say example, and we can say, there you go, translator CLI dot translate. And we could do / translator CLI, translate hello world, source, target, Spanish. Perfect. So let's run it. Let's run this exact command here, like this. Translator. Oh, I forgot Python. So this does happen sometimes that the autocomplete gives you a bad suggestion. It doesn't fully give you the suggestion that you need. There you go. Source, English. Hola mundo, target, Espanol. So this looks good. This looks good. But what I would do is I want to make it a little bit. Now, why is this not green? Maybe we need to make this like white. Let's try that. Okay, I like that. Hola mundo. And now does click have let's see, Python click italics? Does it do italics? I write italics. No, you cannot do that. Yeah. I mean, it's good enough. But I think that we should change the bottom to be like, I don't know, like yellow or something. Let's try that. Ooh, text file busy. There you go. Ah, perfect. Look, source English, Hola Mundo, target is Spanish. That looks a little bit weird. Um, I think that we put this at the top, right? So we say like source, target, English. That looks good. So now we have got a general purpose translation tool, right? Source English, target Spanish, Hola Mundo. So now we can change things around and we say like, where did I park my car? Where did I park my car? Which is a real problem when you're in another country. Donde he aparcado mi coche? Now, this is Spanish. This is not Spanish. If you're in Mexico, they would not say coche, they would say carro. So I don't know if there's two. What kind of versions of Spanish are there? Huh, there's only formal Spanish, which is interesting. So if I want to do Portuguese, let's say Portuguese, PTPT. I like Portugal. So let's go here and we'll say um, target PTPT, PT, PT, like that. Onde estacione muy caro. And then if I want to look at the Portuguese, which I'm assuming will be Brazilian, it looks similar, right? So it looks like we have a nice general purpose translation tool. And that was pretty easy to build, actually. And so I'm going to go ahead and say make test. Do I have test for my code? It says no testing. So I haven't built any tests yet. So I'm going to leave this off for now because we'll just say like echo not implemented yet. Okay, we can come back to that. Linting is pretty good, and we can say as well. Maybe I can add another command here that says um, uh, format lint or something like that, or well, let's say like refactor. How about that refactor? And for the refactor, I'm just going to run format lint. There we go. Perfect. Pretty interesting how it. So if I say make refactor, what's pretty neat is that now I don't have to do lint and format. I can just always do it at the same time. And I can now check in this code as well and add this in. So adding in translation tools, translator. So that was pretty helpful. And I probably have time for a little bit more playing around with this. Is there anything else I can do with translator here that we see? I guess I could look at the API. What else can it do? Oh, it can list languages. So let's do that. Yeah, let's build. Let's go back to our library, and we're going to say make a function that lists the languages. So say here, build a function that lists available languages. There you go. So it makes an instance of Boto 3. It then finds the languages and then it returns them back. And then if I go back to here, now I can add like another command, right? So I can go here and I can say like build command to list languages. And it should help me out. List languages. There we go. It should give me some suggestions here. There we go. Available languages for languages. And I could even get a little bit fancy here, and I could do random import choices. And what I could do is I could say colors is equal to, I think these are the colors. And I could say randomly select a color. There we go, colors. And then we could say print the language name randomly selected color. Right, that's kind of cool. Just to make things a little more interesting. There you go. So let's try that. And it'll make kind of like a little Christmas tree kind of thing. So if I go through here and I say translator -- help, you can see that there's one called list languages. And let's even put, that's good enough. I could say make refactor as well, right? Just to clean up all our code. It's good. Uh-oh. No, yeah, so this, we need to fix that by putting this, Pylint disable message. Perfect. Line 20, no value for argument text and function call. Line 20, translate text. Oh, yeah, that's the wrong piece of code. So what I need to do is say list languages. So you have to be careful when you're getting stuff auto-suggested, because it may do something unexpected. So I'm going to format, refactor my code, and undefined variable list languages. I need to import it. There you go. So see, I'm constantly running the refactoring script, like the linting and the formatting, to check what's happening. There we go. Help list languages. Now we should be able to get this. Uh-oh. It says attribute translate object has no. Did you mean list for language? It's got a bug here. Translate object. Undefined variable list language, line 20. List undefined variable list languages. Well, let's double check. Def list languages. Looks good to me. From AWS tools, import list. How is that not working? Doesn't make sense to me. You have some kind of weird, let's try that. Languages, list languages. Let's do that. Translate object has no. Well, I guess I didn't even try this out. let's try it out. So I need to make sure this code even works, which is always a good thing to double check. Is import Boto 3. I probably have a invocation error. Here we go. And now let's see if this will list the languages. Oh, well, there we go. So that's the problem. Is that's not the correct code. We need to go client provides a list of languages that Amazon supports. List languages. Let's look here. Oh, list languages. There we go. Not get languages, list languages. Now if we say client list languages. There we go. That was a problem. So I was just calling it wrong. You really do want to be careful about just accepting things that are code generated for you without doing a little bit of troubleshooting. Now, if I do a reformat my code, let's just double check everything is working, and then look, there we go. So we got a pretty neat little like kind of colorized thing that shows all the different languages. Now, it would be kind of cool not only to show the language, but to show the display language code, right? That way I would know, how to use it, right? Like that would be kind of the whole point. And so language name, and then also we want to do language display code would be display language code. That's right. Like that. Does this work? Display language code. Hopefully that does work. Let's see if I do it. Oh, there is no display language. For language and languages, why does that not work? Oh, language code. There we go. So I need to pull that out and do that. Well, we'll say results is equal to this. That's exactly what I want. And then we say results. I'm doing some kind of typo. Now let's try it. There we go. Perfect. Right. So now someone that wants to use my translation tool, they would just see the name of the language and then the code. So then how would I use this? I would just go through and I would go to help. Right. And I would look at translation for help. And it's going to go, oh, do this. Okay. So let's do this. And we'll do the translation first in English. And then we can do target. We can just pick one of those other languages that popped up, right? Which like, here we go, Vietnamese, VI. There we go. Nice. So pretty productive session here. Let's go ahead and commit this. Adding language code. Perfect. Right. That's it for today.